river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest. Today we have from Worcester, the Executive Director of the Worcester branch of Dress for Success, and her name is Justine LaChapelle. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know what she told me about 5 years ago? Well, I see a lot of people, so I wasn't sure it was the same lady. You were on the show. And that's great. So you knew exactly how to get here the whole day. Yesterday we were going to have her on, but and she was very smart. We did end up with a heck of a downpour. We here in Upton, and you're over in Leicester, and you got it bad, right?
We did.
Did anything get taken down, trees and that type of thing?
Nothing in my immediate yard. I did have a little bit of water in my basement, and the end of the street was closed for a little bit because the river ran rampant over the street. So, it was a little concerning for a while, but all is good. The sun is out.
Thank God. Now, you've got a great library over in Leicester.
Oh, absolutely.
I gave a presentation there 3-4 years ago. Awfully nice people. So, anyway, Justine, for people who don't know what this is, Dress for Success is for women primarily, right?
Yes.
And tell us about it and its history.
All right. Well, we're a local affiliate of an international organization, a global organization that started more than 20 years ago. And the story of our birth, so to speak, is really interesting. A woman who was a graduate of college received a small inheritance from her grandfather, who was a business owner. And she remembers him remarking about women entering the building if they were coming in for interviews, and he would be yes, yes, no, before they even got to the door. At that point, when she received the small inheritance, I believe it was $5,000.
Well, back then that was...
she remembered that experience.
Yeah.
So she wanted to level the playing field for any woman who was going in to interview for a job based on her skills, her aptitudes, and her attitudes, and not her clothing. So Dress for Success was born in the basement of a church.
Yeah.
And it was Nancy, who was the founder, along with a couple of nuns, and they provided clothing for women who were going on interviews.
Now, were these women of low income, Justine?
I'm honestly not sure, but I believe it was a variety of women, but mainly women who may not have had the ability to purchase clothing that put the best suit forward.
What a great idea. So what did happen from there?
So from there, they started giving out clothing. Women were getting jobs now because they were able to put that best foot forward and not be judged on their appearance. You do know that someone judges your worthiness within 8 seconds. And in this virtual world, it's even a shorter period of time. So I can tell you a little bit more about how we're helping women overcome that later.
Yeah.
But we realized that women also needed support to stay in the workforce. You know, as women, we normally juggle multiple hats, multiple responsibilities. So a support group called the Professional Women's Group was born.
Where was that? Was it in Worcester?
That was in New York when we first started more than 20 years ago. So across the state of Massachusetts, the affiliate that's in Western Mass, located in Springfield, and Dress for Success Boston were entered as affiliates of Dress for Success much earlier than we did. Our founder, Kathy Barron, realized that the same challenges that women were facing in the western and the easternmost part of our state were also true needs in the Worcester area. So we came to be in 2008, and we started serving women in 2009
Out of Worcester.
out of Worcester.
Where is it based in Worcester?
We're located currently on the first floor of the Denholm building.
Oh, the old Denholm.
I love that place. I
My
remember
father,
it
as
as
a little girl, my father was a sales rep, and he would be representing his company. And he used to talk about he went to Denholm McKay
Yes.
and Worcester. I remember that.
Yeah.
I know where that used to be SSI, right? Social Security.
There are a multitude of nonprofits in the building,
Yeah.
but our physical presence is located there where we have our boutique. We also have offices and training spaces for groups of women who come in to see us. The thing that a lot of people don't realize about us is our service area covers entire Worcester County,
Yeah.
all the way from Connecticut, Rhode Island, up to the New Hampshire border. So we have a physical presence in Worcester. We've developed partnerships in Southbridge that are several years old, where we're able to use space in the Southbridge area to run some of our programs. And we just received a seed grant from the Community Foundation of North Central Massachusetts to start developing effective partnerships in the northernmost area of our service area, in the Fitchburg-Leominster area.
Fitchburg is really, there's a lot of people hurting up there. in Fitchburg.
Yeah.
You can just tell. It's a depressing, I hate to say it. You go through Fitchburg and it's like,
Yeah,
it's
it-
not where I want. Right now, it's not exactly the most attractive city around here.
Right. But as with anywhere else,
Yeah.
women have it inside themselves with support and education to be on that level playing field with other applicants for positions.
We're talking with Justine LaChapelle, and she is the executive director of the Worcester branch of Dress for Success. Justine, how can they reach you if they'd like to reach you?
If they'd like to reach me, they can reach me directly via email at execdirector, EXECDIRECTOR, at dressforsuccess.org. They could go onto our website and contact us through there. Our website address is worcester.dressforsuccess.org. Or they could certainly feel free to call our boutique and leave a message, and that phone number is 508-796-5660. One little word is we are still working a hybrid work model, sometimes remotely and sometimes in the boutique, so please be patient for a return phone call.
Yeah, definitely. Is it the hybrid due to the COVID?
Yes, and I have got to tell you, COVID was the best and worst thing that ever happened to us. And I say worst because I think in March of 2020, we were frozen, just like everybody else.
Yep.
What do we do now? That lasted about a week, and then we regrouped and said, all right, let's look at being able to deliver these services. They're super important to women in a different format. So within the first 6 months of us closing, we had all of our programs transformed into virtual programming.
Now, what happens with a woman who couldn't afford a computer? How would she find you?
We're able to work with our service partners. We have about 72 agencies that refer work-ready women to us for suiting, for programs, for individual career coaching. And through the referral partners, the women who are in need of computers have been able to access them. And we also have been providing, we understand that some of the women may not have a computer, but we have been providing in a format that they can participate either on a phone or on an iPad. And in those cases, instead of referring to things that we're showing on screen, we actually will mail out a packet to that woman.
Good.
So that she's able to keep up with her peers within that workshop group.
Justine, when they find out about this and they can't afford or whatever to get a suit and look well in their interview, whatever, do they pay for it or is it free?
It's free.
Aha, see, that's great. I believe in that.
Yes.
Yeah. Did they go in and get fitted for some?
Well, we can talk in two ways. Pre-pandemic, they would come into our boutique, which I'm very proud to say looks exactly like an upscale boutique that you would see in a designer mall. It is immaculately kept, color-coded. I mean, it's just a wonderful experience.
Yeah.
It's not like entering a thrift shop.
Right.
You really feel like you're being transformed into an upscale boutique. And when a woman arrives, we don't just jump right into the suiting, because we realize that her progress is really dependent on her self-confidence and her ability to deliver her message well. So what we'll do is we'll sit down with each woman, we'll review her resume with her, we'll offer her suggestions in case this job doesn't pan out for her, so that she can readjust her resume moving forward. And we get to know her a little bit better there. You know, why did you choose to put it this way? Why did you? And what we're actually doing that they don't seem to realize is providing them with mock interview questions in a very non-threatening way. So when she gives an answer that we know would jazz an employer, we'll say, wow, remember to say it that way when you're in the interview, because you'll probably have that question asked of you.
Yeah.
So once we go through that process, we talk to her about what her job, what the job is going to be like, what type of position she's going for. And 99 times out of 100, she will be suited with a full two-piece suit, whether it's a pantsuit or a skirt suit. And I've been asked multiple times, well, isn't that old school? Well, it's not as old school as you would think it is, especially for women who have gaps in their work history, which we're serving a lot more women in their 40s and 50s currently who have needed to re-enter the workforce because of a job loss due to COVID, you know, on the part of their spouse. Or there's a number of situations, or they lost their job in hospitality industries, and now they were needing to look for something within a new industry. So we speak to them. They go into our dressing room, which has, you know, basically the satin, you know, curtains, and it's really a neat experience.
Is that the three-way mirror or whatever it's called?
We don't have a mirror in the dressing room.
Okay.
The reason for that is, I'm sure you know as a woman, if you haven't put on career clothes for a while, you tend to nitpick the parts of you that you're not satisfied with. So we strategically don't have a mirror there until we've put together all of her pieces. So we'll bring her pieces, she'll try them on, do they fit? If not, we'll exchange them for something else. And when she says that she's fully suited, we invite her to come out, and we have a gorgeous, gorgeous full-length mirror where she's able to see the complete package at once.
What about shoes?
We do shoes, we do pocketbooks, we do portfolio pads.
Nylons?
Nylons when we have them,
Okay.
because, you know, if folks are donating them, of course they have to be new and in packages, whereas other things simply need to be like new.
Yeah.
And we've had so many experiences in that mirror. If that mirror could talk. I remember my second day on the job, I, you know, wanted to go out and really observe what happened, what the process was like. And a woman looked in the mirror and she started crying.
Yeah.
And my heart dropped. I was like, oh my God, she doesn't like it. The volunteer said, why? And she said, oh my God, I haven't seen her in such a long time. And I'm sorry, but when I tell that story, it was the most remarkable transformation to see this woman now view herself as worthy and as being a competitor in the market for a job.
Right, exactly.
And she walked out of there straighter, taller, and with a bounce to her step that wasn't apparent when she was coming in.
Do you have the many different sizes? How do you work with that?
We carry everything from a 00, which is about the size of me when I was a toddler, all the way up to 28, 30. What we do is we rely mainly on private donations. But then we also do get some corporate donations, and we have built into the budget, knowing that we have extreme difficulty with people on the bookends, which are the zeros and the twos, and then the
The
22s and
yeah,
above.
yeah.
Because let's face it, at that size, when a woman finds something that she likes, she wears it to the point where it's no longer of use to anyone else but her.
Right.
We're very, very particular about the clothing that we accept as
The
donations.
quality. How can people donate, Justine?
They can go online, but what they need to do to check in the meanwhile is check on our website, which again was worcester.dressforsuccess.org, or look us up on Facebook, because currently our donation program is paused. We had just received a huge corporate drive donation right before we shut down.
Ah,
So understanding that we didn't serve any women in our suiting program for probably 7 or 8 months, we still have a plethora of
Yeah.
backstock. So we haven't opened up to new donations at this point. But we hope to in the near future. We are expecting to see an uptick in women that are referred to us, and we'll start going through our merchandise more quickly. But we do have our volunteers go through our donations very carefully. And we are changing the way that we're approaching donations and asking women who are donating to look at each item and say,
Would I
I
wear-
would wear this to
Yeah.
an interview.
would I wear that? Yeah.
Or would I wear this in my first 2 weeks of my job? Because we're not a thrift shop.
No.
Our donations serve a very, very clear purpose. And we want all of our women that come through our door to be suited to look the part, to look relevant. People call us, and it kind of makes me cringe when they say I have a classic suit. And oftentimes the classic suits will have, you know,
Oh, I hate
large
those.
pads.
Like you could play the quarterback
or
on the football
really-
team.
And let's face it, employers know that it's outdated,
Yeah.
so they make the assumption that our women's skills are outdated,
Yeah.
and we don't want that to be their first impression.
How about the women over at Abby's house? Do they know about this?
Absolutely, they're one of our partners.
That's
they are,
terrific.
They are one of our partners. We partner with small agencies, like an Abby's House, but then we also partner with state agencies like Mass Hire, which is the old unemployment office. So we have a plethora of referral sources. What we did find, though, is during the pandemic, a lot of the larger agencies, because of their levels of bureaucracy and management, were a little slower to really get back in there and get real
Yeah.
active. So we started during the pandemic, and we're going to continue to do it, is to accept self-referrals. So if a woman calls us, needs services, we'll assess her, we'll do an intake, and we will provide those services if we deem them necessary for her.
That is awesome. I wish more of the women in this area knew about it. Once again, Justine, how can they get a hold of Dress for Success?
Well, we have a contact page on our website, which again, worcester.dressforsuccess.org, or they can call us and leave a message at 508-796-5660. But again, we're not in the office every day, so be patient with a return call. So we are accepting self-referrals at this point for suiting appointments, for our Zooming to Success program, which is an awesome 10-week skill development program where we talk about the roller coaster of looking for a job. We talk about developing vision boards. You know, what would be the ultimate job for you?
That's fun to make a vision board.
Abs-
That's artistic and creative.
It's a
yeah.
load of fun.
Yep.
And then talk about, you know, the vision board and how that can translate into their job search. We talk about using job search engines. We talk about soft skills like teamwork, conflict resolution, emotional intelligence.
How about leadership?
Not so much during Zooming to Success, because that's really a workforce preparation program. But leadership is really explored in our professional women's group.
That's
that
what I was going to
meets-
ask you about next. What is that group?
It's a group that meets once a month, and we've been, of course, doing it virtually. And each month we have a topic that we explore together, an educational topic that's either provided by one of our staff or volunteers, or we've really been doing a lot more partnering and having guest speakers coming in and talking about
There you go.
areas they're experts in.
Yeah.
And we would love volunteers to say, hey, this is an area that I'm really good in. I would love to work with your group.
And after also, if you're a leadership mentor, a coach, people are coaching and that type of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So our professional women's group is women from a wide variety of industries, because all of the topics that we explore go cross-industry. They're not specific to any one
Where does
industry.
it meet, Justine?
Non-COVID and safe times, we do meet in the Denholm building at our boutique.
Okay.
Since we've been shuttered because of COVID, we've been meeting virtually. And we're looking at, when we return to more in-person services, to continue with a remote option. What we found is women, especially given the size of our service area, aren't able to get to us.
Yeah.
So through remote workshops and attendance and programming, that is a non-issue.
Yeah.
And it also helps our women, and the majority of our women are moms, so it also helps our women address the barriers of childcare.
What would you, well, you said the general age is coming back into a job at 40, 50, I don't know, 60s and 70s people. It's a different world than our grandparents, even our parents.
Right.
Different world. People are, like at 70, say, okay, I'm not there anymore, I'm starting this. Do you have a lot of entrepreneurs or leaders in the corporate world, in the professional women's group?
We do have mid and senior level managers at various companies that participate as a member of the professional women's group. So it's not just geared for entry level working women.
I think this is awesome. Now, is that a different way they get a hold of you for that?
No, it's the same way through our website, and
Okay.
also they can leave us a message.
Yeah. If someone's shy, they hear about this, oh, well, I don't think I can do it. Nothing to be shy about, right?
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. It's for you. We're here to really help other women rise. We believe in uplifting each other.
Yeah.
And part of the professional women's group is they do some problem solving.
Yeah.
If someone's having a concern at work, they bring it back to the group, they do some problem solving. They're also very, very supportive to each other around work-life balance issues,
Right.
which so many of us who are, single parents are challenged with oftentimes. And what did you do in this situation? And it's a way for women to feel validated, and that yes, a lot is expected of you, but we're right here with you. We're here to support you.
So the women who go to the professional women's group there are not the people that come for the dress for success. This is a whole different group.
The
right?
vast majority of them are from our own programs.
From your own programs,
Yes.
dress for everything.
Yes.
So a lot of them are employed in businesses,
Yeah,
and they're there to kind of maybe get some helpful hints
right.
as to what to do.
Right.
What a great, you've got everything. It's like, what's that commercial with the gecko? Let's bundle with the insurance with this one.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. Those eyes,
I know.
We had a moment.
And we kind of do that same thing too, because when somebody calls us and we're doing that intake, or when we're working with our referral partners, we have the suiting program. Then we also have individual career coaching. If someone needs to update their resume, if someone needs to practice interviewing skills. We also, through our worldwide organization, have a partnership with Robert Half. So we're able to access all of those trainings for our women. So if someone's working with us and says, I need to really polish up my Microsoft Word skills, we'll be able to direct her to a place where she can, be involved in self-directed learning with our support and assistance. So we have the coaching program, we have the I Am Successful, and that's a cohort program. We have our professional women's group, and I'm so proud to say that we started doing public workshops, which kind of goes beyond our mission.
Yeah.
But we've been doing public workshops through advertising on Facebook, so anybody who's friends with us can go ahead and sign up for these workshops. We've been holding them once a month, And one of them is on navigating the virtual world of work. So we talk about things like how to set up your home office, you know, decreasing distractions, what you need for...
Oh, you should see mine. I'm one of those people that has ideas, and I keep all these scraps of papers around. It looks like a toddler's or a teen's bedroom.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. They say people who are like that tend to be, I guess, smart. I don't know. But it's just all... When someone comes to you dressed for success, do they have a definite interviews coming up, or are they like, I don't know which way to go, I don't know what kind of company I would belong to?
Well, the women in our I Am Successful when we have it in person, or Zooming to Success when we're running it virtually, they may not know.
Yeah.
So it's almost that step before you actually start looking for a job and going out on those interviews.
Yeah.
So they are very early on in their search. And through the program, they also receive a suiting so that they are prepared to go out on those interviews when they receive them. Some of the women that we suit are planning to go to open houses, to job fairs and things like that. As long as there's something that she's striving for, we will absolutely be there to support her on that, wherever she is in the journey.
What happens when somebody comes in and they're like, especially if they're in the 50s, 60s and over, they're like, I have different interests and I can do different things. I'm not sure which way to go.
That's something we're really good at. Really good at. And the reason that I say that is because we are able to, through the resume that we use, it's not solely a historic resume.
Yeah.
So the top third of the resume is dedicated to
what they're good at.
Skills, what they're
Yeah.
good at,
Yeah.
and we work with a number of people where we need to help them identify transferable skills. So what they do in different parts of their life that an employer is going to be really excited they have.
That is fantastic. Zero in what she's good at, because it'll capture the interest of the interrogator. We're almost done. And then, Justine, again, how can they reach you over Dress for Success?
Oh, please reach out to us. Our website is worcester.dressforsuccess.org. And also, I have to say, on that website, you're going to find a link to our event, which is a virtual event on September 24th, where you can hear more about our success stories and how we've helped women overcome COVID challenges. So that's on our website, worcester.dressforsuccess.org. Or they can call us at 508-796-5660 and leave us a message. We will absolutely return your call. You are important to us.
Justine LaChapelle, this is absolutely fantastic. Girls, it's free. You know, really, if you can't afford a suit, and you got to get out there and work, okay? If you can't afford a suit, you can't afford to look really good where you're going. Call Justine at Dress for Success. It's the Worcester branch. They'll help you. They'll help you find a suit, whatever. You know, they've got purses there too. Some shoes.
Some shoes.
I can think of one person in my knowledge, young lady, in about 31, 32. And she had to go to court for something. And I said, walk in there basically like you own it.
Yes.
I said, go get yourself, she would never think to do it, get yourself at least a suit top. You could pair it with a pair of nice slacks. She did. She found one actually in a thrift shop, but I didn't realize about Dress for Success was for anybody. I will pass that on, believe me. Justine, we're going to have you back again. This is extremely important, especially now. People lost their jobs, they're looking around, maybe they can't afford a suit
Right.
or to look good. And that, if you look good, it tends to make you, feel good, you know. I've always told the girls that. If you can feel good and you dress that you really like, you're going to walk in there confident acting, and they're going to think, you know, she'd be a good hire.
Absolutely.
Thank you
So right.
for being on.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate
We're
it.
going to get her back again. We'll see you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems. moving through the cloudless sky, heading out toward the moon.